Three things in 3 minutes. Let's get it. So let's talk about a real conversation that I had this week with a client. Let's call her Natasha. Natasha bought an investment condo last year, and it's now worth less than what she paid. She's feeling the pain. Right now, she's putting $500 a month into this because her tenant doesn't cover the full housing expense. And she's wondering if she should just sell and take the loss. She came to me overwhelmed, ready to walk away. But what she really needed wasn't quick advice. What she needed was perspective. So because selling this new home would likely mean a short sale, we had to talk through what that does to her credit, what that would mean for her ability to buy again in the future. And I shared with her this kind of wild study that Fidelity did about 10 years ago. They found that their best performing investors were dead people. No joke. Dead people were the ones that never messed with their accounts. They didn't react emotionally or try to time the market. They just stayed the course. I told her, if you don't lose, you can't lose. What I meant by that is don't sell at the bottom and take a loss. Just ride this out. There's a chance that you can refinance when rates drop, or maybe values jump back up and you can sell to break even or get your money back. This is a long-term investment. Real estate isn't about winning every single month. It's about playing the long game. Sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing. And that's why dead people are the best investors. We're finally getting a bit of economic data again. For the first time since the government shut down in early October, we have a report. So remember, there were no federal reporting released in the last 23 days because of the government shutdown. No wages, no jobs, nothing about inflation. But this week, one report broke through: inflation. The only reason we're getting this is because federal law requires the government to calculate the cost of living adjustments for Social Security recipients each year. In other words, we're getting one brief look into the darkness, not because of any broad commitment to transparency, but because seniors' benefits legally have to be updated. Economists expect inflation to continue to kind of trend up a little bit, close to 3% or so. But the bigger takeaway here is how dependent we are on these reports, and we're not getting them. What type of system do we have? How fragile is this whole system if we can't even know what's going on when the government stops operating? So while we'll get this one inflation report, don't expect much else until the shutdown ends. For now, this is our only window into how prices are really moving. Finally, mortgage rates are at recent lows right now. We're talking about 30-year fixed mortgages that are around 6.125% nationally. If you remember, rates had gotten as high as about 7% in June of this year. And so that's quite an improvement. But what should you do with this knowledge? Well, what I would do is I would make sure to reach out to every client I've talked to over the last 2 to 3 years and let them know where we are. When rates finally dip below 6%, it's going to be all over the news, and we're going to see a lot of people who have been sitting on the sidelines finally rush back in to try to look at buying. A savvy buyer might recognize there's an opportunity here. They can move before others react and capture an improved rate before the frenzy kicks in. Now, I know that's hard. I know we say we'll do it and we won't, but make a pledge to yourself. Make some calls this week and next and see if you can drum up some conversations. I bet there's a deal out there. All right? Y'all got this.